Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Dan and I'm here to bring you another FPL video. In this one, we're going to be looking at my team selection ahead of Game Week 2, where we'll be breaking down what we did in Game Week 1, how we got on essentially. We'll also then be looking at possible transfers, captaincy options, and the full squad for Game Week 2, as well as some more community-driven content towards the back end of the video. So hopefully you enjoy the content. Let's jump into how I got on in Game Week 1 first of all. 74 points all out, so very, very happy with that. I think 10 points above average. Yes, we didn't quite reach the 80 plus mark, which I know some, of course, very successful managers did, and congratulations if that was one of you. But I think, honestly speaking, 74 is a very good starting point for me. 7 out of 11 players returning in terms of attacking outputs or defensive ones. So very, very happy. Of course, we do have that 0.5 million in the bank as well, which is fantastic. It offers us a bit of flexibility in the next few weeks, which we will discuss. And of course, the squad value there as well. Although the graphic shows 99.5, we have had a few price increases already since, meaning that mine's about 99.7 now, I believe. So really, really strong opening week. Very, very happy with it. Of course, let me know in the comments below how you got on first of all. But let's jump into a couple of the positives, right? Haaland and Saka, I think they were two of the individuals that never left my draft from day one, essentially, and they were the two best performing for this week, specifically for me. 13 points from Haaland, 10 from Bukayo Saka. I think we're going to, we can expect this to happen throughout the season, I think. I think Saka priced at 8.5 million was an absolute steal, and we could see why. That finish was absolutely sublime. And then the robot himself with like 4 touches, I think it was, against Burnley and still managing to score 2 goals just shows how important he is. He's the first player in FPL history to ever get to a 90+% ownership, which is absolutely incredible. It does make it is a little bit of a disappointment though in some ways, because he's an automatic captain for even casual players. They're just going to leave it on him, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to climb the ranks as quickly as other seasons maybe. But in terms of the output from the rest of the team, I am still really, really happy. A couple of other individuals to mention are Estepinian and Chilwell. I think both of these had phenomenal opening games. Ben Chilwell impressed me so much, even against Liverpool as a tough fixture. Although the clean sheet wipeout happened, could have had a goal, marginally offside, still managed to get 2 bonus points and an assist for himself. Scoring us 7 points, I think, is a really, really positive opening week for him. I was expecting it to maybe be 2 or potentially like 4, going to be maybe a bit of a goal fest, maybe a draw, but Chilwell getting some kind of assist. So to bring it home 7 points for me, I'm really, really happy that he's done that in pretty much the toughest fixture of the next 6 or 7 game weeks for Chelsea. Really happy with him. Then we have Estepinian, again, another individual that he blows my mind how he's just so much of a workhorse. If you manage to tune into the game, it was only in the dying minutes that he managed to actually register the assist to Ferguson. And then that also meant he got 3 bonus points. But the reason why he got 3 bonus points is because of how attacking he was and the chances he'd created already before getting that assist. He could have had a 15, 18 pointer. If they would have kept a clean sheet on top, I honestly think this would have been a ridiculous opening week for Estepinian. Really happy to own him in the short term. I think the medium term is a little bit tricky with him. I think there are certain fixtures that we've got to watch out for, but I honestly think that he's not a sell for me now. I was thinking maybe game week 4 onwards to move him on, but I think I want to try and hold on to him and rotate him through the easier fixtures, right? That's what I think I want to do with him. He's just visually so appealing to watch. And then the negatives, I guess we can go into the Man United boys. 3 points apiece from them. Really disappointing showing. I think from an Old Trafford at home opening game of the season perspective, we should have come out the traps and we didn't do it. It just looked really disappointing from us from an attacking point of view, and really lucky to have kept the clean sheet as well. I think Bruno being a little bit deeper is a bit of a concern as well, and certainly something to watch. I think, Mason Mount being on set pieces and sharing them with him is also a concern, as there's less route to points for Bruno and Mason Mount respectively. So I think he at 8.5 million can easily be downgraded to some of the 6.5 or 7.5 million boys, as we've already seen this week. So I think he's one to watch as a possible out for me. That being said, though, Rashford also, even playing in the false 9 really, or that number 9 position essentially, out of position as a midfielder in the game, didn't really get enough in terms of, chances or anything really. So I think both of these individuals need to be considered to be on the watch list out over the next 4 or 5 weeks. And of course, Ollie Watkins, I suppose, is maybe a little bit of a disappointment. I wanted more attacking return from him. Of course, registering an assist is still a positive, But yeah, his fixtures do improve now. So hopefully we start seeing some numbers from him again. So that's game week 1, guys. Overall, very happy. Let me know in the comments below how you got on. So let's have a look at transfer plans then for game week 2 for me. I think rolling makes the most sense for this squad. Absolutely, I'm a Gabriel owner though, so there is a certain possibility that I will change my mind come deadline and remove him. However, I'm just really struggling to find an obvious replacement for him in game week 2. I think he does get that Crystal Palace fixture, and I do think that Palace have been known to be a little bit weaker in terms of defending set pieces where Gabriel can excel at. So that bullet header that everybody wanted from game week 1 in Gabriel, maybe we get it in game week 2, right? So I think he's a hold for me for game week 2, and then we can reevaluate with 2 transfers in game week 3. So that's my plans. Let me know in the comments below also, though, what yours are. Then we can have a look at captaincy data. So, of course, take this with a pinch of salt. It's only one game week. But we can have a look that I think these are going to be the 3 most popular picks for captaincies. I think we've got Salah at home to Bournemouth, which looks like the most positive fixture and captaincy choice this week. We have Haaland at home to Newcastle as well, so a little bit tougher, but I still think the man will find a way through. And then we have Saka away at Palace. So I think if you have a look at the opponent's chances that were conceded, so Bournemouth conceded 5 on the right-hand side last game week, and I think that will constitute to points for Salah as long as he gets the start. Now, of course, I say that because there was a bit of an attitude that he threw from being substituted early. Didn't get an acknowledgement from Klopp, so maybe there'll just be an apology there and he'll start. I don't think we can read into it too much, but as long as he gets the start and the nod, I think he could be a fantastic captaincy option, if not the best one. Then we have Haaland against Newcastle. They conceded 4 chances centrally last game week against Aston Villa, so not really that many, but of course it's only 1 game week's data that we can pull on. He scored 13 points though in his opening game, so I think he's got plenty of routes to getting more, if not the same, even against a formidable Newcastle defence. So I think he's a great secondary or backup captaincy shout, and I think Saka can probably be handed the vice captaincy as essentially that backup, right? 3 chances conceded on the right hand side for Palace. I think away from home Arsenal, it is going to be a little bit of a tricky one against Palace, I'm not going to lie, but I certainly think he could be an option as a differential. But as I say, my standout pick really is this man, Mohamed Salah. Let me know in the comments below once again, though, what your plans are for captaincy. So let's jump into how we're going to line up for game week 2. We've got the defensive lineup and goalkeeper here, so I don't think there's any surprises. We've already spoken through why and justified really the ownership of these individuals. Turner does make his first appearance though ahead of Jordan Pickford. I've got Ollie Watkins in my squad and I really don't want Pickford versus Watkins, and I really think that Turner did quite well for Forest against Arsenal. You know, all things said, in terms of an away fixture at one of the best attackers or attacking teams in the league, to still put out a 2-pointer, essentially, in terms of the saves, the shots conceded, I think he dealt with pretty well. I think Forest overall looked really good defensively. It's only going to be positive from here, surely. It's a home fixture against Sheffield United, so I think he's an absolute shoo-in for a start for me. Then we have the midfield boys that are going to be unchanged for me this week. There are, of course, Bruno Fernandes and Rashford on a bit of a watch list for me. I want to see a better performance against Spurs away. I think, you know, we've got to look at them, though, as potential transfers out. For me, there's so much money tied up into these 2 individuals with the likes of Mbeumo, of course, Solly March, another 6.5 million performing. We had Eze that did very well, although not returning. There's just so many options that we can go with to free up budget and money for us to move into maybe a 3-4-3 with some rotation that I think these 2 have to be on the chopping block, unfortunately. The rest of the guys, though, I'm more than happy owning. Then we can move into our striker options, and it is Haaland and Watkins, so no surprises there. Really hoping that Watkins gets more attacking returns and kind of matches or exceeds João Pedro, as he definitely was an option into going from game week 1 with him. I just wasn't sure on a double up of Brighton attack. So hopefully Ollie Watkins comes good over the next few weeks. And of course, Haaland, as probably most expected, does get the armband for me. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious here. There are other individuals, like we've mentioned, Saka, Salah. I have got Saka in the team. No route to Salah, unfortunately. So I think he makes the most sense for this squad. But let me know in the comments below who you're going with. And then for my bench, we have got Pickford dropping there. We've got Archer, Udogie, and Kabore, which isn't really at the strongest bench for me this week. We've got Udogie playing against Manchester United at home. And of course, Archer 4.5 million striker, probably not going to get any minutes, although he has been linked with a move to Sheffield United, which is why I started with him from game week 1. And then Kabore, of course, blanks. That being said, Kabore, just while we're on the topic of him, really impressed with him in terms of his attacking threat and just what he looked like overall in terms of his average positions. I think he's going to come good as a 4 million defender when we need him. So really, really confident with this squad. Let me know in the comments below, though, what your teams are looking like. Now we move into the more community-focused half of the video. So we've got the Prize Mini League update here. If you see yourself in the top 10 here, then congratulations to you. Really strong opening weeks, or week, should I say, from these managers. As mentioned, if you scored mid 80 points or kind of into the 90s, you've had an absolutely phenomenal week. So congratulations to all of you on screen. I'll be putting out regular updates for this in my future team selection video. So we'll be keeping track on who those top 10 individual managers are. And if you would like to participate, here's the 2 codes that you can use. I will only be talking about the Prize League in the videos. The Fun League that's open all season is just really for kind of, I guess, a little bit of bragging rights. The Prize League is only going to be open between now and game week 5. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen kind of what we're doing here, we're doing that so we give essentially the early supporters and the long-term supporters of my channel the best possibility of winning a prize. I don't want it to be a league that's still open come game week 36 and essentially somebody comes in and swoops the prize that found the channel in late, I don't know, April or something like that. I'd much prefer to give it to the long-term community members. So hopefully you agree with that approach. And then finally as well, we will talk about the launch of my Discord server. It's been a long time in the making in terms of summer activity or during pre-season. I put together essentially a bunch of bots that are all on separate channels. As you can see some examples here, you get lineups posted, you get price changes, new players if they've moved from club to club or new in the summer transfer window or the January one. We also have very detailed analytics available for specific players and teams. There's just so much content on there for you to dive into. I'll leave a link in the description below for you to come and join me. The more the merrier. We had an initial joining and influx of people from our deadline stream on game week 1, but I'd love to see more community members over there. So that's going to wrap up the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, if you did enjoy the content, then consider hitting that subscribe button below me. And finally, if you enjoyed the content, hit that like button for me. So we'll be heading into game week 2 with a deadline stream on Friday night. So hopefully you can join me there. If not, then I'll hope to see you in another video soon. Take care.